pro boxing fans here in Sheffield. We've just witnessed a crazy, probably minute of boxing just there. Talk to me about that. Leigh Wood stopping Josh Warrington when Josh Warrington looked comfortable. Leigh looked, let's say, he was struggling at points. Just give me your thoughts on that fight.
No, you're right. He was struggling bad. I think I gave Leigh a round, and I was surprised. I was sitting ringside, almost a bit shocked. Like, okay, I get it. There's been a lot of talk about the weight, but I mean, when I did the face-off, I asked him. I remember, said, "Who's the better boxer?" And Leigh said me. Like, put his hand up straight away, and Josh was like, "Okay, almost like maybe him." Josh was outboxing him. He was working him. It was almost reminiscent of those Josh Warrington fights against Frampton and Selby, where it's just so fast. And I was like, it almost felt like it was inevitable that Leigh Wood was going to get knocked out. Like, oh, Leigh's going to get knocked out here. You can feel it. Like a punch is coming and he's going to get knocked out. I have no idea where he found that from. But that's Leigh. That's Leigh. We see it. It's not a one-off. We saw it against Michael Conlan, where maybe it wasn't as one-sided, but he was getting beat up by Michael Conlan. Then he just found something. And he found it here. And it wasn't just one punch. He found a combination. It's like he landed 4 or 5 on the button. And me and Sonny were not arguing, but Sonny got upset, kind of grabbed my arm saying, you know, Josh should have had a minute to recover. I was like, he was gone. And you knew he was gone because the corner didn't moan.
Actually, saying that
his dad,
I just spoke to his dad. He goes that he got up at 8. He should have given him that minute.
He was done. He stumbled up to the corner, and then when the ref said no, he got upset a bit. Then he went to the ropes and he kind of stumbled as well. And I felt like someone needed to kind of grab him. Look, what it will do, because it was semi-controversial. I know Leigh was, been speaking about Joe Cordina at a higher weight. No, not for me. Go again at this one. Go again. Get rid of the belt, because it is Klomatov, isn't it? I think the mandatory. That dude from Uzbekistan. You don't fight him at 35 years of age. So avoid him and do it at the City Ground. Both of them want to go up to 130. Let them both go up to 130 and do it. I feel sorry for Josh because it's 1 win in 5. It doesn't tell the story of Josh's career, but it is 1 win in 5. And he's better than that. I think we saw, honestly, I wouldn't say vintage Josh, but we saw a very good Josh Warrington. And that's why I think he was so upset about the stoppage, because he's thinking, I was bashing you up for 7 rounds and you just caught me. But that's boxing, isn't it? It's boxing. He got caught, and Leigh Wood, 3 fights in 8 months, 2 fights with Lara, another one with Josh. If he's not British Fighter of the Year, then there's a problem. Because again, no one's fighting, no one's giving you that amount of work. For him to beat Mauricio Lara and now Josh Warrington, holiday for a year and come back.
Final one before I do let you go.
I'm in a roll now.
All right, okay. Leigh Wood, look, you can see he was visibly struggling in that. That's not the Leigh Wood we saw in the last couple of fights, especially that Lara fight. He looked fully energized. Yeah. Is this just a step too much? Does he now, like you spoke about today, does he now just need to move up, feel like the fighter that he once was?
The problem about him moving up to the Joe Cordina weight, 130, is that they're massive up there. Like, Joe Cordina wants to move up himself to lightweight, do you know what I mean? So, whereas Leigh Wood is one of the biggest featherweights, one of the biggest featherweights, it'll be one of the smallest super feathers. And it's his age as well. He's 35, he's no spring chicken. I know he kind of looks young, but because maybe the casual boxing fans haven't heard of him up until 3 years ago, so they think he's maybe a 28-year-old, 35. So I don't know what he does. And that's why I kind of say maybe you have, a catchweight fight against Josh Warrington again, because I don't think I want to see the Joe Cordina fight. It takes a lot of shots, and Joe Cordina hits a lot harder than Josh Warrington, and he's a lot sharper, and he's a lot fresher, a lot hungrier. I don't know, if you're Joe, I can understand why you'll take it, because it's a big money fight and not in a marina, but they need to think of what they're going to do with Leigh. They need to watch that fight back, and yes, you got the win, celebrate that win, but you need to watch that fight back and realise your guy got outboxed badly for 7 rounds. Again, the knockout win doesn't tell the story of the fight. He got hurt a lot in that fight. He got hurt to the body as well. So, I don't know. Look, you're right. First things first, go up and wait. Second thing, be very careful about the fighter you want to fight next, because that really could be that. Whereas I feel like if he picks his opponents carefully, there's maybe 2 or 3 more fights. But, yeah, both of them have big decisions, even the winner, which is quite rare.
Final one, quickly going to move over to the heavyweights. Hergovic and that whole IBF situation right now, saying that Usyk, Fury, even though after the first fight they're going to call that mandatory, even though there's a rematch. Eddie's saying, listen, we're going to push for that. You know, he's been waiting. Do you believe that even if there is a 2-fight, this is going to have to happen? Because it normally does happen after Undisputed, that sort of belts go all over the place.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll care. If I'm Fury and Usyk and we get it done and it is Undisputed and we get the Undisputed, I don't think people will care too much if they were to ever fight again and it's not Undisputed. Yeah. They've done it now, we've seen it. Someone's going to walk around with all 4 belts and the Ring Magazine belt. We don't necessarily need to see it again. So I think if the belts get scattered, who cares? Fury and Usyk will still get paid, according to Frank Warren and Bob Arum, over 100 million each. So I don't think it matters. And then we'll see what happens with the belts, whether it be Hrgovic that fights AJ, potentially.
That's what I'm saying. Good news, maybe good news for AJ, that, right?
Yeah, because I don't think Hrgovic is that. Honestly, I'm not sold. I mean, I saw him get beat by Zhang. I did. In hindsight, that's not a bad result because Zhang's actually pretty good. But I saw him get beat. Well, not beat, but I saw him get sort of life and death with Dempsey McKean. And I thought, dude, I remember speaking to David Hay about this when Hrgovic was in his camp for the Fury fight. And I said, David Hay said, if you were to have told me that kid wasn't going to be a world champion in 5 years, I would have said you're crazy. He's kind of dipped a bit. I don't know what's happened with Hrgovic. So yeah, if I'm AJ, I look at it and think, but then again, I don't know where AJ is. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't vintage AJ against Franklin or Helenius, so I'm not sure, but I would make AJ a big favourite. But you know what I mean, I'm quite AJ biased. You know what I mean? I'm quite AJ biased, So, look, I don't want to talk about AJ unless I'm talking AJ Wilder. That's all I'm done. AJ Wilder or nothing for me.
Makes sense. Ade Oladipo, always a pleasure to talk to yourself, sir, and thank you very much for talking to me, and speak to you soon.
Thank you, bro.
Top man.